Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 58 continues the Moro arc with the arrival of Goku, and it is here forth, in this chapter at least, the Goku Show. Before we get into it, make sure to subscribe to the channel as I cover the manga every single month. Now, if you saw my leaks review, you know what I think of some of the things that happen in this chapter, and I thought, okay, you know what, it's not in context, we don't have the full chapter or translations yet, so maybe it'll be better with some context and execution, but no, it might even be a little bit worse than I had initially thought. But as we left off, we have Goku defeating the fused warrior of Moro's army into these three chicks, and one thing I really do appreciate was Master Roshi offering to help carry them onto the ship, like the freaking old pervert that he is. Very funny line. So Krillin basically explains that they've been fighting these Moro guys all over the earth, and I do give them some credit here in that they did stop the majority of Moro's forces. Okay, at least we have that. So the last couple chapters weren't a complete 100% waste, but as Piccolo points out a little bit later, yeah, they were kind of useless because Goku comes in and basically just boom, kind of steals the limelight. He took this battle away from Krillin and Roshi. Of course, they were having a really hard time. I think it would have been way more satisfying if they were able to like dig deep and finally, through strategy, teamwork, and their own power, defeat this fused warrior. And that power up that they do against her triggers Goku to be able to sense their ki to get to Earth via instant transmission. Because an interesting line here, Goku says that Krillin's energy was super easy to sense, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if his energy was super easy to sense, why couldn't you sense Piccolo and Gohan's energy earlier when they were fighting 7-3 and powering up Super, or even fighting Saganbo just a couple minutes ago? So I don't know. It's not that great to me. So Krillin says everybody else is fighting all around the world, and here is the biggest disappointment in the chapter for me, is that there is no Yamcha and Tien action. The leaked images were the only things that we got, and it is just Goku coming in and one-punching this guy, the end. Super disappointing because there was such a ripe opportunity to have such a great moment with Tien and Yamcha, because we've been missing that for such a long time. And Goku is always has the spotlight. Like, there is plenty of opportunity for Goku to have action in this arc. I mean, he fights, as we see later, he fights the majority of the chapter against Saganbo, so it's definitely the Goku show in this chapter, and then he's about to fight Moro, so there's plenty of spotlight for Goku to have. I really think that this chapter should be chapter 59, and I think we needed one more chapter of the heroes on Earth finally just being the heroes that they are and saving the Earth from Moro's men, except maybe Saganbo and of course definitely Moro. I think that would have been way more satisfying, because to me this, like, Goku coming in and doing this, it doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than to just move the story along a little bit faster, because the whole Moro arc I think has been paced really well, but this chapter in particular, and Goku arriving the last chapter has really kind of jarred the pacing a little bit to me. So now that I got that out of my system, we get onto the Gohan and Piccolo versus Saganbo fight, which is really nicely intense. I really like how beefed up Saganbo has gotten, and basically the struggle between the teamwork of Gohan and Piccolo versus him. And I really like this like double blast that they do right up in his face. And Jocko even commentates, he's like, dude, you guys are gonna blow up the Earth. And they're like, oh, I mean, at this point you have to kind of go all out, because either the Earth is gonna get destroyed or you destroy Saganbo and win. So but Saganbo ends up winning. He double punches both of them in the face. Really cool stuff. But then something I was not expecting was to get development on Saganbo and his motivations. Very interesting stuff. I wish they did this for Moro, you know, the main villain of the arc. But I thought it was really cool. We got a little bit deeper stuff. But then the biggest thing that happens here is that he just starts getting wrecked around, And I'm thinking, okay, Goku's doing this, but the surprising thing is that Gohan and Piccolo couldn't see him. Jocko could because he has, the super eyesight thing. But Piccolo and Gohan, I would think, okay, like they're super, super powerful, and they should be able to see Goku even if he's powered up a lot. Like unless he's way stronger than them. And this is just, I think, another thing that's like a nod to the Frieza arc when Goku was fighting the Ginyu Force, and Krillin and Gohan couldn't see his movements, or the Ginyu Force guys couldn't see his movements either. But I was thinking, okay, because Goku reappears in base form, and I'm thinking, I really hope, like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, he's doing this in base form and they can't see him? How is he doing this in base form when Gohan, Piccolo 17 and 18 all together couldn't even touch Saganbo? But it looks like this shot here of Moro zapping Saganbo, I'm thinking, okay, I think he gave him more power there. And it turns out that's probably the case. But in terms of the base Goku thing, they explained that a little bit later, which I thought was an interesting way to go about it. Like, at first you think, okay, how did he do that in base form? That doesn't make a lot of sense, but then they explain it, and it's like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and that's actually pretty cool. So Saganbo getting all enraged, not wanting to go back to the prison, powers up a little bit, and then Goku powers into Super Saiyan Blue, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm wondering why he didn't come in as a Super Saiyan Blue and just like, boom, end the fight with Saganbo just like that. Like he did with the others. Like he ended the fusion chick with one punch, and then he ended the dude Tien and Yamcha were fighting with one punch. Why didn't he come in and end Saganbo with one punch instead of, having to spend half the chapter on this? This is far less interesting to me than a Tien and Yamcha fight or struggle would have been. But it is pretty cool nonetheless, because Saganbo is, especially when it comes to this art, I think the art in this chapter is really strong, especially when it comes to the intensity of Saganbo and his body, and Goku just like beating the ever-living crap out of him, and Saganbo just going all out and just can't do anything against him. The tables have turned. Like, nobody could do anything against Saganbo, and now he can't do anything against Goku. So we get a pretty intense fight, and it's interesting that with the leaks, we thought that, okay, Moro's gonna get tired of Saganbo not being able to beat Goku, so he's gonna kill him, which essentially does happen, but it's not in the way that you would think, because Moro just keeps powering him up more and more. And freaking, this image, the intensity of Saganbo with this freaking drool, he's like basically a berserk monster at this point, and it's good stuff, man. I'll tell you what. So he still can't beat Goku though, but Moro just keeps zapping him, and it's like his body can't handle it. And this might be the most brutal shot in the entirety of Dragon Ball Super, of Saganbo's body just breaking. He can't handle the power anymore. And he's done. That was like might be the best part of the chapter for me. In a way. So really cool fight. I do wish that it went a little bit differently in terms of the narrative in general. But Goku finally says, you know what, Moro, I'm going to go attack you to try and stop. But very interesting, Moro stops Goku's punch with easily one hand. So how much was Goku trying in this punch? Like, is Moro stronger than Goku's blue is now? Because as we have seen, Goku has powered up substantially in his training with Maris. Which I wonder if we're going to see Maris again at all, because there's been no sign of him since a few chapters ago when Whis took him away. So the revelation of Moro knowing, like, so Moro and Jocko were the only ones able to see Goku, and this is the revelation that Goku was using Ultra Instinct Omen against Sagambo initially, and I'm wondering why he felt the need to use that form against Sagambo instead of Blue, because Blue, before Moro's like 5 or 6 power-ups on him, would have been more than enough to beat Sagambo in probably 1 or 2 hits. But then we wouldn't have had this dramatic reveal that Goku can now, at this point, transform into Ultra Instinct Omen, or Ultra Instinct Sign, as the translation says, at will. Very, 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 very cool stuff. Very exciting stuff. And I'm wondering how Ultra Instinct, or if they are even going to explain it, how Ultra Instinct is going to prevent Moro from stealing Goku's energy, or how it's going to bypass that in some way, shape, or form. So we will, I guess, see in the next chapter. So that's a very, very cool ending. Really cool stuff that happened in the chapter. But I think overall it's a relatively weak chapter compared to the rest of the Moro arc, especially the last couple of chapters, which were phenomenal in my opinion. Those were really good stuff and paced really well. But then this seems like, okay, I just want to get to the Goku stuff. Let's just have him beat everybody so that we don't have to focus on Gohan, Piccolo, Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, and Roshi anymore. I'm done with them. I need my Goku. So, but I guess that's all my thoughts for now. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and take it easy.